Welcome back to World Bike 55. Today, we're taking a detailed look at one of Suzuki's most recognizable power cruisers, the Suzuki Boulevard M109R. This is not a motorcycle designed to disappear into the background. From its enormous V-twin engine and wide rear tire to its long, muscular bodywork, the M109R is built around one simple idea: big presence combined with serious performance. For 2026, the M109R continues the formula that has made this motorcycle so distinctive. The heart of the machine is a massive 1.783cc, 54-degree, liquid-cooled V-twin engine with DOC technology and Suzuki's fuel injection system. Suzuki lists a 112.0mm bore and 90.5mm stroke, along with the 10.5:1 compression ratio. The engine is paired with a 5-speed constant mesh transmission and shaft final drive. The numbers tell only part of the story. The M109R is all about strong low and mid-range character. Available specifications list to work at roughly 160 Nm at 3,200 revolutions per minute, giving this power cruiser a very strong response when accelerating from low engine speeds. Some published sources also list around 125 horsepower, although exact output can vary by measurement method and market, and that enormous engine immediately changes the personality of the motorcycle. Instead of needing to constantly chase higher revs, the M109R delivers its character through big displacement and substantial torque. Open the throttle and the motorcycle feels muscular and deliberate, with the V-twin providing the kind of acceleration that makes straight-line riding especially entertaining. The 5-speed gearbox may sound simple compared with modern motorcycles offering 6 or more gears, but it suits the M109R's personality. This motorcycle is not trying to be a lightweight sport machine. The wide torque curve allows the rider to make good use of each gear without constantly shifting. The shaft drive is another important part of the package because it offers a clean and low-maintenance alternative to a conventional chain drive. Now let's talk about the design, because this is where the M109R really separates itself from an ordinary cruiser. The front end immediately looks aggressive. A large inverted telescopic fork gives the motorcycle a serious stance, while the distinctive headlight nacelle adds a modern interpretation of classic cruiser styling. Drag-style handlebars contribute to the muscle bike appearance and help create a commanding riding position. Move toward the fuel tank and the motorcycle becomes even more dramatic. The bodywork flows backward in a long, sculpted shape, giving the M109R the stretched visual proportions expected from a power cruiser. The deep black finish used on the current model is complemented by contrasting chrome details, creating a combination of modern aggression and traditional cruiser character. Suzuki has emphasized the glass sparkle black treatment as an important part of the M109R's appearance, but perhaps the most recognizable design feature is the rear tire. The M109R uses an enormous 240/40R18 rear tire. That massive piece of rubber gives the motorcycle an unmistakable wide stance and is one of the reasons the M109R looks so different from conventional cruisers. Up front, it uses a 130/70R18 tire. Both are tubeless. The wheels and tire combination gives the motorcycle a strong visual identity, but it also influences how the bike feels on the road. A machine with this much weight and such a wide rear tire naturally feels more substantial than a smaller cruiser. It is designed to be confident and stable rather than extremely light and flickable. The M109R's chassis is built around a steel frame, with an inverted front fork and a link-style rear suspension using a single shock. The front suspension uses a coil spring and oil damping, while the rear system is designed to provide a controlled ride while supporting the motorcycle's substantial mass. Braking performance is another major feature. At the front, the M109R uses dual disc brakes with radial-mounted calipers, while the rear receives a disc brake. Suzuki has specifically highlighted the relationships between the M109R's front braking system and the technology associated with Suzuki's high-performance sport motorcycles. This is important because the M109R is a large motorcycle. Suzuki lists a curb weight of approximately 347 kilograms, or about 764 pounds. That means the bike requires confident handling, particularly when maneuvering at very low speeds or moving it around a parking area. However, once moving, that weight can become an advantage. The long 1,710mm wheelbase and substantial chassis help give the M109R a planted feeling. The low 705mm seat height also makes the motorcycle's dimensions easier to manage for many riders. Ground clearance is listed as approximately 130mm. The riding position is classic power cruiser. The rider sits relatively low, with the relaxed relationships between the seat, handlebars, and foot controls. The result is a posture that feels natural for highway cruising and relaxed road riding. The motorcycle's long shape also creates an unmistakable sense of occasion every time you climb aboard. The fuel tank holds approximately 19.5 liters, or 5.2 US gallons, on the standard model. That gives the M109R a useful amount of fuel capacity for longer rides, although actual range will depend on riding style, traffic, speed, and conditions. Suzuki also keeps the instrument setup relatively straightforward. The motorcycle focuses on essential information rather than trying to turn the cockpit into a technology showcase. That fits the character of the M109R. Its main attraction is the engine, chassis, styling, and overall riding experience rather than a huge collection of electronic screens. Lighting equipment includes a conventional H4 headlight specification and an LED tail light according to Suzuki's published specifications. The instrument cluster combines an analog-style speedometer with LCD information, including useful everyday information such as the odometer, trip meters, fuel information, and clock. One of the M109R's biggest selling points is that it doesn't try to imitate a traditional heavyweight cruiser completely. Instead, it creates its own category between classic cruiser styling and muscle bike attitude. You get the low stance and relaxed ergonomics of a cruiser, but the enormous engine and wide rear tire give it a much more aggressive personality. That combination is what makes the M109R special. Imagine approaching the bike from the side. The low seat, long tank, wide rear tire, large V-twin engine, and thick front fork immediately communicate that this is a serious machine. It looks powerful even when the engine is switched off, and when the engine starts, the character becomes even more obvious. The 1,783cc V-twin is the centerpiece of the entire motorcycle. Its large displacement creates the deep, substantial feel expected from a power cruiser, while Suzuki's dock configuration and fuel injection give the engine a modern engineering foundation. The 54-degree V-twin layout also contributes to the motorcycle's distinctive character.